Bing bing, bing a boom, bing a bong. It is the Martin Fowler Scrum on a Friday. Yeah, and yes, so yeah, to be thinking about like maybe turning some of the scrums into retrospectives on Fridays. Maybe we'll do that in the Camp Beck Scrum today. But anyway, Praveen was in. First, we've got Praveen and Nico and Lucy and Sam all here with us. Praveen, let's start with you. How are things going with you?
All good. So update from my side is I worked on website one ticket about the hanging of GitHub tasks. So still waiting for your review there. After that, I looked at some of the issues on website one. So we'll pick one of them. And yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah.
Good stuff. Excellent. So nothing blocking you at the moment?
No.
Okay, good stuff. All right, thanks, Praveen. Let's go on to Nico. Hey, Nico, how are you doing?
Hi there. I've been working on website one on the Agile Ventures repository, and I think that I made a list of some pages that I still consider that we should remove because all the content that is there is really old or it's repeated code. I mean, repeated content. And for example, in two of them, we have the pricing plans. So I don't know. They are just repeating there, or I don't know. I will let you know the meaning if that's not the case. And what else? No, nothing else. I've been working on that for loading the content from the GitHub pages. So
great, thanks, Nico. Wonderful, wonderful. We got Lucy and Getty just joined us. Lucy, anything to report?
Yes. Hi.
Hi there.
I was still trying to set up the local support. Yesterday I ran into the GNU library error. Yeah, I reported on local support install, and I was able to get the way forward. Right now, I was just trying to set it up. But I haven't finished it still. But yeah, I'm still doing it. At least it has run the library, the GNU library.
Right. Oh, good job. Well, thanks so much for reporting in local support install. It's exactly the right place, and yeah, hopefully we can make our installation documentation better. Anything else blocking you?
No. I don't have any blocker right now.
Great. All right, wonderful. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Lucy.
Yeah.
And do you need any more help with the install, or you're okay now moving forward?
The remaining part, I think I'll be helped by Musa and my group.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lucy. Excellent. We've got Getty. Hey there, Getty. How are things going with you?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
So I haven't done much on this week. It's been a busy week, but I'll try to probably do completion next week.
Good stuff. No worries. All right, thanks, Getty. That leaves me. Yeah, so this morning had the web dev mob, and we've been looking at CSS. And then we had the React mob, and Praveen and I were looking more at our little React app and sort of playing around with that, and actually also starting to get its CSS bootstrap stuff, and we made some little progress there. I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, so I've got now a pairing coming up with Ryder on the Paranauts project. Yesterday I paired both with Nick on website one, and we're looking into the Ethereum bountied karma calculation issue, and I think Nick's starting to make some good progress on that. Also paired yesterday with Zmago, and we sort of tried to fix up some little things for the Minot boat project, which still hasn't officially started yet, but we were just sort of clearing up some stuff from the design sprint. little bit blocked there. I thought we'd solved this issue for like drawing stuff in SVG, but it still seems not to be working. And yeah, other things will come up today. I've got the MOOC mob coming up later today. There's Kenbeck Scrum, which I'm going to turn into like maybe a little retrospective, depending on who's there. And then I'm probably going to. I don't think I can make the async voter meeting. I'm going to have to focus on some client work instead. Yeah, and Kevin's joined us, but he's just listening in. Great stuff. Good to have you with us. I think that's our Scrum. So it sounds like I've got 2 jobs to do. One for Praveen, which is reviewing the code for that pull request that he's in, and the other one is working through this list of items for Nico. Does anybody have anything else that we need to address in the meeting?
Yes.
Go on.
Yeah, I requested Sigu.
You requesting Sigu?
Yeah, I requested Sigu to put a PR on hold.
Yes. Oh, yes. I saw that. Yes, there was a Dependabot pull request on on local support. Yeah, we're quite happy to leave that while you work on your own pull request. So yeah, that's no problem at all. Yeah. So I think that's Scrum done. If people need to get going, I guess if anyone wants to stick around, maybe I will just make sure I get this review done for Praveen, which actually Nico had also worked on. So this was some code where it had an infinite loop. Nico, I think, found the alternate way of calling it with retry timeouts and retry waits, and I think we identified that fixed the problem. Then was just a question about adding a test that would expose that issue, and I remember because we paired on this, didn't we, Praveen? Which is the specific test? This is the. I mean the. This is like it. What's confusing about here is I think actually, like, it's not such a big change, is it? Like I guess right. What it is, this context where no. Oh, wait a sec. I'm kind of confused now.
So I made 2 separate contexts for each of those.
Right. So this when no empty repo present. So this is like the normal state. But so the stuff inside this context hasn't actually changed, has it? Like
no.
This code, it's just the fact that it's now in a context.
Yeah.
Right. And so what I guess my feedback would be here is there's probably you don't necessarily need to create this new context. Do you know what I mean? Like when no empty repo present is kind of, I think, slightly confusing. Like I had to like double take in my head to kind of like it's sort of like a
either it should explain more or it shouldn't be there.
I think what I'd be tempted to do, and this doesn't have to be. I mean, well, you could change now or whatever. Is that if we didn't have this, what it would mean is that we wouldn't see excuse me, such a large. There wouldn't be this kind of noise in the pull request, if you know what I mean, because this doesn't need to change, and then we could just have kind of like a standalone context here that would sort of sit inside this overall describe operation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's why I made 2 separate commits for that chain. So in one commit, I just put it in the separate context, and in another commit, after that, I added that commit for empty project with empty URL, empty repo.
Right.
So it's a combination of 2 commits.
Yes.
So that
Yeah, so we can have a look at the commit you're saying. There's you end up with this, but
first one and the second one.
I mean, it's independently of how many commits it is. But so, from the point of view of the reviewer, the thing to check is basically this right over here on the right hand side, because none of this has changed. And I think that what would sort of maybe be cleaner is to just remove this context, because we're describing the overall job, and this is the normal operation, and then we've got a special kind of sub-context that fits within that.
But that context then would have the variables from the previous specs also.
Yeah, it would, and you can argue that that's a that's a it's less
independent.
efficient. Well,
Yes.
well, I mean that but it's still a kind of a context, in as much as, so like here, I mean you can say that. I mean all of these things should be independent. They should be able to run in any order. The fact that they're inside or outside a context is less relevant there than just that they are standalone. Now, so this lot here, they share some setup, right? And arguably, what you've done here is, like, it's saying there's less setup needed. So in fact, we don't need all of these bits and pieces, right? We don't need any of this particularly in order for this to work. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to merge it in. I think that the that's a good question there. It's because we've got, basically, at the end of the day, by looking at it together, we've got to the bottom of it. It probably is more efficient, although we shouldn't worry too much about efficiency if we haven't identified, a performance problem. I don't know if the absence of this context would cause problems for this.
No, won't cause any problems, I think. But
yeah. I mean, the other thing I'd be tempted to do is, rather than necessarily having this in the before block, is we might have that as a subject. But
yes. But then
yeah, no, actually, I think they're just even saying it and thinking, I think I prefer it in the before block, because if we have it as a subject, then we have to kind of like refer to it down here to make sure that it gets called. And it's
that's why I did it in the subject.
Yeah, six of one, half a dozen of that. I mean, it's sort of the danger is some of it. Maybe they miss that this is the activity that. But anyway, yeah. So I that's great. And so then actually looking at this thing here, so we check that. So basically, this runs now, and we have an empty repo, which is, yeah, we've actually got a real empty repo to test it against. And so this would, in the case where it got stuck in the infinite loop or what have you, this test wouldn't pass. So I think, yeah. Anyway, wonderful. Let's get that merged in. We still got our silly coveralls thing. It doesn't work, but that's all right. Confirm that. Yay, merged in. Thanks so much for working on that, Nico, and I mean, particularly Praveen, who started it, and the help that, Nico, you gave afterwards. So that's that. I guess then the other thing is just, so you've done this list of pages here, Nico.
Yep.
I can say immediately that the press kit, that's linked to from the rest of the site. That's important. Non-profit basic support. People are currently paying for things through that. That's really important.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
isn't that?
Oh yeah. Agile Ventures gets money from 2 different organizations through this.
But they are navigating through that link.
When you say that, I mean that's
they
a
are
link.
visiting that page.
That page, I am sending that link out to, when people say we need ongoing maintenance and support on our open source project. I am sending them the link to this page, and they are. So this is kind of inactive use.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely, we want that one. The associate one is also in active use. These are both a couple of things that they're kind of like, we're not advertising them heavily on the site, but they're both, they're both kind of in.
Okay.
Go on.
No, that I never heard about the associate one, so that is why I thought that it was really old. Maybe. Right.
No, I mean, it was sort of requested, and I mean, it's sort of, I mean, we could add it into the main pricing, but then there's this watchword that says if you give people too many choices,
they don't know what to choose.
They don't want to choose, so you kind of like supposed to minimize the number of choices, and so it's like people had sort of specifically requested an additional tier, and then I kind of made it for them and set it up. But
yeah. Sure. No, not questioning the why.
Oh,
I just thought.
Oh, I'm not suggesting that you are. I'm just giving you some background that you may or may not be interested in.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And then so yeah, I mean that one I don't even remember what that is. Okay. Yeah, I mean that was back in the day. That's like old. That can be removed. That was, I think that's a test. Yeah, that can go.
Okay.
CS degree online. That was something we were trying to kind of put together, something a bit like the Odin project back in the day.
One of the cool things about yeah, what we could build is a Medium post for exposing all the online degrees that you can get in different ways.
Yeah. I mean,
some of them they even don't have a link. So
yeah, I mean, so this one now is probably pretty out of date, and see, it's like so. I mean, but I mean the structure there. I mean, it would be if someone was interested in working on, like you say, like a Medium post with that. It would be nice to be able to reference this and see the list of things that we thought went into a CS degree. But yeah,
okay. I will keep it there, and we can update it.
Yeah. If you're interested in updating, that's wonderful. This one. Oh, it keeps saying now it's loading.
Yeah, that was from 2000.
Yeah, that was just that's not needed anymore. Example videos. Oh, don't open over there. Yeah, that looks like completely. Yeah, that's like really old. The pricing beta, as we can.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I mean that I think that was an experimenting with. Well, this was the first. Originally, there were only 2 tiers, and
okay,
you had these were the 2 options, and so I mean that's kind of like it's relevant for historical interest. I mean, I sort of assume, I mean, that like the way that you're currently moving things over for website 1 is that those like all of these static pages in website 1 have a kind of history, right? They have a revision framework and so on.
But that it won't exist anymore.
But when you say they won't exist, like they could still be in the database.
Well, I guess, that is what I wanted to say.
What it means is that they wouldn't be updated through the GitHub content pages framework. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but we don't need to have it in the website anymore, right?
Oh, no. I just mean for things like this, just to be able to refer back to, what is the way, how did we, like, when in the future we write the history of Agile Ventures, how did Agile Ventures become the multinational, world-striding Goliath, and we could, I mean, it's I'm as you would see if you could see my office, I'm in this kind of like, I tend to almost never throw anything away, and I hate to think of losing data forever, about what it was in the past.
We could save it in a way that users are not able to find it, because that is, I mean,
right, yeah. I mean, at the moment, there's no linkings to this page. It's just sort of there. Like, if you think about it, Agile Ventures is kind of, we've got a whole wiki system built into there, right? And people have sort of created all this, that, and the other. But certainly this lot here can all go away. Like it would seem to me that like you would have to explicitly, like, even if we switch over to the new system, right, which reviews Agile Ventures, and it pulls out the stuff and it stores that in the static pages, right? You would have to like, in order to delete this, you would have to explicitly delete it, right?
Yeah.
And just by having it remaining there, you don't need to do any more work to leave it there, right? It would still exist as HTML in the static pages. It wouldn't be editable anymore because we would have got rid of the Mercury editor, right? And just is what I'm saying making.
But yeah, it makes sense. But the thing is that it exists there. I mean, you are getting indexed by Google, anyways. So you are being scrapped.
Yeah, but I don't particularly. Well, I mean, Google can't find it because it's not linked to from anywhere, is it? Because Google will come to agileventures.org, and then it will go and it'll go, the crawler will go through all the links. But if this doesn't,
I will use a tool for seeing if we have some links to that. Okay, cool.
But yeah. I mean, and then but what I'm saying, what I guess, and this comes down to like the way that we've got we were just doing this, like the way that we were talking about this in the other day. We were talking about it in the website one meeting. Like here, this is the yeah. So this is the setup that we have. That we're sort of talking about. The AVAV site will have here. There's the this is like the static pages table, right?
Yep.
And you're thinking that, as you were saying, like you're gonna, with the process, you're gonna like grab the markdown from here, translate it into HTML, and then store the HTML in here,
in there,
right, in the static pages, to kind of reuse the existing static pages system is your plan, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So this ends up being, you know, HTML in there.
Yes.
So whatever. In this context, like, so these ones will naturally be copied across. If there's an extent to which, for example, the pricing beta still exists in here, there, and then it's got its HTML content in it, right? Like that can just sit there in the static pages table. It's not going to interfere with the operation of the process that transfers the information from here to here, is it?
I was going to ask that, yeah, because for example, all the pages that we are going to have on AVAV, if I don't find, for example, how are we going to manage if I delete one from there and I don't want it to appear anymore on our website?
Well, I think we don't really have to worry about that particularly. Like in the first instance, I would have the simple thing to do is, you know, anytime that there's a page here, we just put it in the static pages in here, right?
But I don't remove anything from there.
Yeah, well, that would be my like path of least resistance. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
I mean, I think it's been very useful. So like, but certainly some of these things, you know, could be deleted. And I mean, there's other one. I don't know. This like pair programming help videos. You know.
Yeah, there is only one video there.
Is there only one there? That's funny. I've got. Well, I ended up building the AV 102 course that does more of those things. But so, I think it's good.
I mean, I can leave it there, and we can use it after all the upgrade to make some updates to the pages that have less content. So no problem with that. But it's good to know that we have.
Yeah, it's great to do a review of these things. I mean, it's sort of like going through the attic. But I think with the structure that we're talking about, the way that things move across, we don't have to explicitly delete
in the future. No worries.
But then what it will allow us is that we can, in some of these things, like
in the future,
we need better doc. Hopefully, some of these things would become part of the getting started sequence. So I think actually having people have a really good walkthrough for how to do Pong would be really good. And this is anyway.
Nice. Yep. One of the things that I was thinking is in the future, instead of having this rake task, I could build an API. I mean, the AVA repository could turn in an API, so as a microservice for providing all the content instead of through the GitHub API through our own. So we will have started there all our pages, and we can mark them as active, inactive, and that kind of stuff. So that could be really useful for us.
It's an interesting. Yeah, so you're imagining like wrapping a microservice around this.
Yes,
that would kind of be like a yeah. It's interesting. Yeah,
in the future. I mean, first we have to got this working. So
yes, and I think then the interesting thing will be to see, you know, how many more people can we get involved in maintaining the pages and see how they use it, and then, you know, like absolutely, yeah. If we start to see pain points and a microservice around there, very cool, good stuff. Yeah, so pleased that you're working on this stuff, Nico.
Awesome,
wonderful. Cool. All right, that we've done the after Scrum. Oh, I noticed there's a question there. Sigu's asking when the next local support meeting is, and so that'll be next Thursday at the usual time. Oh gosh, so I'm going to have the confusing thing is like over the weekend the clocks are going to change here, so I guess we're still going to be on UTC times. But yeah, I mean, basically there was a local support meeting yesterday. Just we did it we had the client meeting first, and then we did the local support meeting immediately afterwards. It was just Nico and myself and Stella. But yeah, so the next one would be next Thursday, I guess, still at 11 a.m. UTC. But yeah, you'll forgive me if after our clocks change here, I I'll try and get any requests for changes to meeting times in as early as possible. All right, there we go. That's camera one.
Awesome.
Bye for now. See you all
Bye-bye.
through the rest of the day. If not, have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.